So I'm gonna head over and check out the homeless area because somebody said somebody was pitching a tent on next door, so we'll see. So you got the place where they so you got the stuff still here. Looks like the overall's blue. The pad blue over there, or somebody moved it. But you got all the piss bottles and drinks back in there. This stuff is still here. Now you can't like see around like the weeds. Man, these weeds have really grown up if you watch my videos. So somebody said somebody was setting a tent over here, but I thought they said it meant over here. It wasn't too specific, but this is the usual area. And I don't see anything over here, so either they moved on and it was just somebody passing through, a backpacker or something, or it was a homeless person that I moved on. So, no homeless. Short video. But this is where they come. And nice pallets, if somebody wants to come and get a pallet. I mean, they're actually really nice. I was gonna ask the wife if she needed any. She had talked about a couple pallets in the past, but I don't know what that was for. So those are really nice. I mean, I could take a couple of them. Like, I don't know why somebody wouldn't just drop those ones off at Home Depot at night, you know, or behind a store or something. Because, you know, all stores have, you get pallets. And those are nice ones. Those would be the type, like, yeah, companies don't mind taking back because they can use them. They're not all falling apart. So the homeless population are more, not really homeless, they're panhandlers. You know, you got those people that are like, oh, you know, those poor panhandlers. You do know it's a career, right? A lot of them, the majority of them, it's a career to stand out there. Now, there's either two ways they go about it. They just do it themselves. They drive up, find an intersection, and whatever they write on the sign for the day, and they stand there. I don't know if last time you looked, a lot of the signs use pretty nice Sharpies and stuff, and like are pretty well written. Well, why is that? You know? Because you're more likely to give somebody that is well written than a, you know, a badly worded sign or something that looks like trash. Appearance, you know? Like the sign I found over there, it was really nice. It had a, you know, had like a gray, whether Sharpie or something, to make a shadow for the letters. I mean, somebody put a lot of work into the sign on the cardboard. Also, you would give money. And you end up giving money to make you feel better. Granted, we don't know their true situation unless you watch them and you see them get into a vehicle, which a lot of times they do. They park somewhere and they get out and they're wearing their beggar clothes and they go make some money, you know, 4 hours and go home. Now then there's another group of panhandlers. And those panhandlers, what they do is they are dropped off. They're more, it's like an organized crime more or less, you know. Somebody drops them off and they're working that corner until they're picked up. and the money isn't going towards them. They might be allowed to buy, like, you know, some booze or something. They probably get a piece of it, but it's a small piece. So if you give, say, somebody $10, they're probably getting $1 if that, you know? And they're the ones doing all the hard work. It's the organized group that is profiting. And think about it. If you're dropping off 20 people, you're making easy money for doing nothing, and it's all cash. So no taxes, and it's straight up cash. So that's why there's been famous cases of, you know, panhandlers that make $100,000 a year and drive nice cars and live in nice apartments in cities and stuff, because they make a lot of money. That it's a whole career. Now, is that every single one of them? No, no one ever said that. But at the same time, it's probably a majority of them are doing it for a career, or they honestly are not mentally able to do anything else, or have criminal records that they just given up. So, you know, there's plenty of people with criminal records that reform themselves and end up owning businesses and stuff because they push themselves. They don't want to stay as the criminal that can't be hired, or the shit job dishwasher in a kitchen or something, because that's all they can get. So, you know, personally, I will never give to somebody on the street. I've lived in too many third world countries where they will break kids' backs and legs and cause deformities and throw hot boiling water on them so they're scarred for life. Why? Because that's their career. They're going to be the career crippled kid on the side of the street. And even in those countries, there's plenty of people that, even though they know what's going on, feel sorry for them, and they give them money. Hence, it just keeps the cycle going and going and going. Because you give them money, that shows there's some money to be made, so other people will have a kid and do the same thing. It's all about survival, you know. At the end of the day, you might say, well, that's really, it is horrible, but it's survival too, you know. If you don't have the 6-year-old out there making money, you know, you have nothing. I mean, you really have nothing. You are homeless in one of those third world countries, and you don't want to be homeless in a third world country. Homeless in America is totally different than homeless in third world countries. Being poor in America is totally different than being poor in a third world country. The poor that are in America that complain about being poor, not given an opportunity, blah, 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 need to really be sent overseas and do an exchange of a poor person. I guarantee you, the poor person in Africa coming to the U.S. is going to be like, this person was crazy thinking they had it so bad. Oh my God, they have a cell phone, a TV. Yeah, I think that would be an awesome reality show, wouldn't it? Exchange poor people, and they have to go back at the end, but that will, you know, give them some incentive to maybe give the U.S. person an incentive, like, you know what, I'm not so poor. And the poor person from the third world country will be like, yeah, you don't have it so bad. I don't know what you're complaining about. And that person coming back would be like, you know, I don't have it so bad. I actually have a TV and cable and an iPhone and internet. And I have government assistance. Or good luck with government assistance in most countries. It doesn't exist. It's a fairy tale. But, you know, Americans are secluded. You know, I mean, people know what they know. So if they don't travel, I don't mean traveling to some tourist resort in the Caribbean and thinking that's how everyone lives on that island. No, it's not. You know, rent a car for the day in Nassau, drive around the island. see how people actually live in Nassau. They don't live in resorts. Not even all of them work at the resort, so they don't even have a nice place to escape to during the day. Dominican Republic, you know, I've seen people, friends, that are like, oh, you know, did a trip to Dominican Republic. It's so nice. It's like, yeah, that resort was nice, but did you actually rent a car and you leave the resort? No, you didn't. It's a slum. They turn off power so the resorts have power. So what are you actually think that's how people live? And I thought you lived overseas with me. You don't know better? I have a hard time going somewhere like that and being like, it was really nice. It was a really nice, it might be a really nice trip from what I experienced, but that's not how locals live. It's a dive of a country, you know? I don't know, you know, it's just, I'm kind of rambling, but it's a pet peeve of mine that Americans think, like, it's so bad here in the U.S. It's not. Even people we classify as poor in the U.S. have cars. They might be beaters, but they have some type of yeah, they actually have access to public transportation too. You're not having that in Africa, I'll tell you that. Not Togo, not Lomé. Now, you know, you might have. So when we left Africa, we sold a lot of our stuff. That's what most people do now. Legally, being part of the U.S. Embassy, we could not sell stuff to make money, because that's what people used to do. Americans would go to these countries and they literally, stories of people selling underwear. They're used underwear, because you could, and make money. You know, you bought a $20,000 car, but there it's a $60,000 car, because, you know, only rich people are buying vehicles, and so you sell for local price. You just made money, so you're not allowed to make money. So we sold some stuff. We sold like I had like real kid furniture. We sold that, like my desk, my trophy case, all that. It was like real nice stuff. And because I was already at that point in Africa, I was already out of high school, so I mean, it was a kid-sized desk and all that, right? And that saves weight for my parents, so less weight to be tallied on, although they would have probably been fine because it was shipped there. But, yeah, sold that. My father sold his Ford Explorer to a guy a rich guy. He already had like 3 other vehicles, you know, BMW, Mercedes. You know, he's wealthy. But Ford Explorers didn't exist there, so unique, something unique to have. So he bought the car. I think my father on AZ plan for an XLT Ford Explorer, pretty well loaded. It didn't have 4-wheel drive, it was only 2-wheel drive. That was the only downside, but my father bought it for Europe. He didn't buy it for Africa. So we had it for a while, in 91, and when we sold it, he sold it in like 98, I believe. So he he sold it for what he paid for it, which is legal, because you're not making a profit, you're selling it for what you paid. So he got to use that vehicle those years, and it cost him nothing. And he had extra brand new tires for that we gave to a local guy we helped out actually come to the U.S. and become American, an African guy. Because we liked him. My father sponsored him and all that good jazz. But so he came to the U.S. But my father actually gave him the tires to sell and said, whatever money you get from them, you get to have. I don't know, $600-700, $800, I don't know. They were new tires. He sold it to the guy that bought the Explorer for obvious reasons. So yeah, you know, we've done our part helping people. My parents actually sponsored the first country, third world country we were in. Our maid's daughter in Pakistan, Karachi, Pakistan. She came back or we got her to come to the U.S., you know, sponsored her, and she was a productive citizen. I don't know if my parents stay in contact anymore. It's been a long time. But, you know, she got married, had a family, and that's the last I know. But, yeah, lived in New York. A melting pot of where people come from, or go to, you know. Same with the African guy. He ended up in New York. He had some, like, really distant, like, uncle or something there, so that's where he ended up going, and ended up going through the process to become a citizen. His family was kind of interesting because they were actually a king over by Lake Togo. So a king of one of the tribes back in the day. I'll probably get hit. Woohoo! Woohoo! Anyways, yeah, Americans don't understand that they're not that poor compared to other places. And they can try the hardship and this and that, but the wealth gap is not as drastic here as it is in other places where you literally have those that can buy a Mercedes and those that can, and there's no in between. You know, very few in between, as we would call middle class. Where America has a good middle class, you know. So, anyways, that's my little rant for coming up Mount Herman. So, everyone, take care and just be blessed. I'm not even a religious person, but I still use that word. Be lucky, be blessed, whatever, that you were born an American, or you moved here and had the opportunity for a better life. Because a lot of people will never have that opportunity. And I'm not going to be ashamed of who I am because of how I was born. But anyways, take care, stay safe, stay well, my friends. Bye.